All right, guys, let's talk about quick mask mode. Quick mask mode is one of the most important selection tools that you are going to use in Photoshop. Anytime you use Photoshop and you want to make a selection, you will love the quick mask tool better than any other tool that you've used so far. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get your untitled picture up on the screen. So File, New, 8x10, 150 resolution. The next thing you're going to want to do is open up the lion picture. So if you go into your Into the Woods folder, if you go into the Into the Woods folder, you will find the lion picture. Mine is on my desktop, so I'm going to grab mine from a different direction. Desktop. There's my lion. All right, so I'm going to do Command 0 to get the lion to fill my page. And now I'm going to want to make a selection of this lion to get into my composite later. So as we're looking at this lion, so far, it's tough to decide what selection tool to use. So for this and for most others from here on in, you're using quick mask mode. So the first thing you need to do, step number 1, no matter what, is hit the D key to make sure you are in your default colors. In fact, I would take a highlighter and highlight that as step number 1. You need to be in your default colors. If you're not in your default colors, it just takes like a thin layer off the top of it. It almost looks sort of ghost-like, or it doesn't work at all. So again, you need to hit D to make sure you're in your default colors. You can also sort of peek down here at the bottom of your toolbar and see that the little black and white square here, which means your default colors, but I don't necessarily always trust that that's accurate. So just hit D several times just to make sure. The next thing you want to do is step number 2. Make a rough selection of the object you want with a selection tool. So you're going to take your lasso and make a quick loop around the lion. So I'm going to just come over to my lasso tool, and I'm going to make a rough selection around the lion. Mine's going to be super rough because I'm working on my laptop without a mouse. And there we go. So now we have some marching ants up on the screen. Step number 3, you're going to enter quick mask mode by typing the letter Q. It is super important that you do not hit Command Q. If you do Command Q, that's going to quit you out of the entire program. So it's Q to get into quick mask, Q to get out of quick mask. And if you look up here, you can see right here it says quick mask, and then Q to get out, RGB, Q to get in. So now I'm in quick mask. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to set my eraser and paintbrush to hard-edged brushes with 100% opacity. And because we were just playing with our paintbrush tools, you may not be there. So we're going to come over here to your paintbrush tool. And then make sure you come up top, make sure your hardness is at 100%, whatever size brush you need, and make sure you have a nice plain brush, not one of those fun different brushes that we were using last class. You can also go over to your eraser tool, which is right here. And again, when you click on that eraser tool, you want to come up here and make sure that you have a nice boring brush. You can choose whatever size you think you may need, but most importantly, make sure the hardness is at 100%. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at step number 5, that it says double click the quick mask icon to set the quick mask options, set the color, and set the opacity. So if I come down here below my color picker, you'll see this little like white square with a darker circle on it. If I click on that, click, I get my quick mask options, and you can see right now the default color is red. You can change to any color you want. Obviously you wouldn't want to choose green because the grass is green, and you can up the opacity if you wanted to, and you can either do masked areas or selected areas, whatever you choose. So just so you can see, I'll choose selected areas, hit OK, Q to get back into quick mask so I can work from this direction, or click, come back up here, masked areas. Maybe I do some kind of crazy purple and hit OK. Okay, Q to get back into quick mask. So you can work from either direction, whatever seems to make sense for you. So as you're reading step number 6, it says paint the areas that shouldn't be selected and erase the areas that should be selected, or the inverse. So if I come over here to my paintbrush tool, I may want to come in here and paint this to fill this in. Or I may want to come over to my eraser tool and erase the parts of the selection that I need to include, like his tail, the back of his leg. And so what I'm going to do is, between using the eraser tool and the paintbrush tool, I'm going to make a nice selection of my lion. So here I am erasing it. Or the opposite, if I go to my paintbrush, I can paint in the selection a little bit more if I want to get a little bit closer to his head. And once you get used to doing this, painting and erasing, you'll find which way you like better and what brushes you like better. So that's step number 6. Paint the areas that should be selected and erase the areas that should be selected, or the opposite. So you can go one way or the other. The next thing you want to do is step number 7. And in fact, I'm going to just make a little mistake so that, we can kind of see what's going on with this. So step number 7, check your final work by calling up the quick mask options and setting the opacity to 100%. So if I come back here and double click this, I'm going to set this opacity to 100% and hit OK, and then Q to get back into quick mask. And now I can see, oh, I have this little selection right here that I don't want. So I'm going to go over to my eraser tool and erase it. And again, Q to get out of quick mask. And again, if I want to double click on this and change to my selected areas, I can maybe see whether or not I need to clean some things up here. Like, for example, I feel like I need to paint this foot in a little bit more, or whatever I may need to do. Maybe I come up a little bit higher for this hair. Awesome. And then Q to get back out of quick mask. So here's my marching ants. Here's my selection, my good selection. So step number 9 is that we need to save this selection. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up to select, and then you're going to scroll down to save selection right here. And you're going to give it a name. So we're going to call this Lion Selection Friday. And I'm going to hit OK. So now if I go up to File, Save As, and save my lion that I'm working on, it's saved. And if I X out of this and I come back another day, I can do a Command O to open. I can go back and grab that lion that we were just working on, Command 0 to get it to fill the screen. And then I can go up to Select, Load Selection, and I just want to do my selection from Friday and hit OK. And there we are. There's my selection from today. This is really good if you're working on a selection and then you run out of time and the bell's going to ring. You can always go up to Select, Save Selection, and save the new version of the selection and load it again. And then that way, if you do your Command C and come over to your composite that you're working on with the Command V, you'll have your selection of your lion to share. So you're going to practice doing this. And then you're going to do a Save As. Hold on, we got to flatten it first. So Shift Command E, oops, cancel. Shift Command E to flatten my image, and then File, Save As, Quick Mask, Lion. We'll call this a JPEG or a TIFF, whatever you want, and save it to the desktop. P.S. You're going to need a quick masked lion for your Into the Woods composite, so save it and use it when you do your Into the Woods composite, or practice it a second time if you need a little bit more practice with it. So there's my lion, and that's what I'm going to submit for my quick mask mode tutorial. If you have any questions, just let me know. This is probably one of the most important selection tools that you're going to use, so I want to make sure you really understand it, so ask for help if you need it. Thanks.